Hey there, welcome to Behind the Scenes. I'm Angela Wolf, and if you've never been here before, say hi, say where you're from. We have sewing friends from all over the world, which is awesome. So today is really behind the scenes, like really behind the scenes. I'm actually working on a new project, and I'm right in the middle of it, so you might as well come and join me on it. So today I'm going to show you how to do a reverse applique. I'm actually going to do it with a knit. So I have 2 knit fabrics I've been working on, and I'm testing it a little bit, and I'm using my design center to create the appliques, the reverse applique. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. I don't know. I'm kind of testing it out, so that's kind of scary when you test stuff like that live, but hey, what the heck, right? So I thought I'd show you how I'm doing this, and I think this would be a great thing for a skirt, a jacket, anything like that. So yes, I'm wearing my embroidered sleeves today. And welcome everyone, great to see you. The weather here is, I don't know, iffy. That's why I'm wearing a jacket today. So I see you all rolling in. You can hear me okay, which is wonderful. I have to say, I forgot today was Wednesday with the holiday this week. So I had to go back through my whole schedule. Oh, yes. Hey, birthday dinner for your husband, Karina. Definitely. Okay, so I'm going to just make sure that I have, we're all here. I'm going to turn this off so you can see, so it's not in your way. By the way, did you have a nice weekend? Hopefully it was nice and relaxing, good weather. I didn't care. I just wanted to veg for a few days, which was fabulous. So, Janet, great to see you. All right, so I have pink and gray fabric. I'll show you what I've done, and we're going to layer this fabric. We're going to trim around it. Well, embroider first, then trim, and then do another embroidery. So we'll see if it works. I might need to use a stabilizer on it. I haven't really decided yet, but I thought first I would try without anything, and we'll see how that works. So let's get growing, let's get going, and I'll show you what happens here. All right, so first, actually, let's start here first. You can see my little bit of a hot mess here. So this is just a real comfy knit. Has a pretty good high stretch. The back side's almost like a terry cloth. And then I have the same fabric in gray. Now, one thing I already did before you got here is you can see that I chalked in my pattern. I'm just going to do the ruche tee as a tank top first. So I chalked it in. And the gray is going to be on the top. So you need to layer your fabrics. And I'm going to go ahead and use this hoop here, the magnetic. So let me just pull all these pieces off. I think this will be really good for this. You want to know why? Sticky one. Get that off. There we go. I think it'll be good for this because then I can move the fabric around and I won't have to use stabilizer. Now, if I change my mind and use stabilizer, but this is how I test things. So if it doesn't work, I have a whole other piece that I could use the stabilizer for. If I was really worried, I could just put a little piece of sticky back on the back, like a tearaway. But for now, let's just make this work. So I have my pink down first. And I think what I'll do, there we go. I can just feel the edge. There isn't a lot of room right here so you can see me, so I'm just trying to make sure that I get this just right. You see that okay? She's a little wrinkly, but it won't matter. So what I'm trying to do is because I chalked in the design of my top, I know that I would probably want, you know me, I love asymmetrical, so I'd probably put a few designs down here. This is the bottom hip area. So let's see. Now, someone asked yesterday if when I embroider on knits, if I actually stretch the knits. Now this top is going to be fitted, but it's not going to be like stretchy fitted. It's just going to be slightly fitted. So I'm just going to make this a little tight, but I don't need to stretch it. Remember when I was talking about if you embroidered a logo and the top was a really dense knit, you might have to stretch it to do. That's not what we're doing here. So just to be clear on that. There's so many things we talk about every week. I just have to make sure I don't give you the wrong information, at least not on purpose, right? I know, like I said, I forgot it was Wednesday, and we've got the Fashion Sewing Club this afternoon. I was so busy getting fabric for our Fashion Sewing Club stash sale that I forgot that today we had our live show, and I thought, well, I guess you're really going to get it behind the scenes because this is what I'm working on. There we go. Okay, that's nice and flat. Just going to make sure I don't need to have it any tighter. I don't want to stretch it where it's going to be, you know, stretch out. I just want it nice and flat. So if it was going over my body, this is about how tight it would be. So I have the pink on the bottom, the gray on the top. Now let's go to the machine and I'll show you what I'm going to pick out here. So by the way, if you guys have any questions, just keep asking away. I will check the questions when I get back because I can't see them while I'm hooping, but I'll be there for you, right? And I can always check back later. So, okay. Here's the machine. This is where I'm going to go into my design center. Make sure you can see that okay. I wonder if I make that screen just a little bit darker, if that would help. Let me just take you. Let me just bring you back over here for 1 sec while I just check for that screen. There we go. Page 4. I can never remember what page that's on. All right, now tell me if you can see this better if I make the light on here a little bit darker. That looks pretty dark. I would say no. I would say double no. I can't even see it now. All right, screen display. How about like a 2? Is that better? No, that's still pretty dark. There, that's pretty good, don't you think? I just know it gets pretty light. There, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm in my design center, and this is where I want to make sure, see if I can cover these lights for you. Just a little bit. Don't get seasick on me now. How's that? There. Okay, so here we have, what I want to do is bring in a design. So if you've ever seen a reverse applique, there's usually, like this really wouldn't work. I mean, it would, but I really want something distinct. So something like any of these flowers would be very cool because I could actually stitch them, trim inside of them, and then do a decorative stitch over it. So any of these would work. Why don't we let's try this one. Click OK. That would be very cool. I'll bring you in closer just so you can see it really close up. I know that's not very dark yet, but you'll see. So I'm going to take that, and I'm actually going to save it to the memory. Well, I'm going to actually turn it into embroidery and save it to the memory. First, I'm going to save it. You'll see where I'm going with this, so just follow along. Click Next. And I can see that everything's set up for a satin stitch, and there's one red box there. So I'm going to link all of these together. Now there's red boxes around all of them. And I'm going to just go right over here. And click, I just want a single stitch, just to give myself an outline. Click OK. And that's going to be my base stitch. Once I stitch that, I can go and trim, and then go back and do the decorative stitches. So click Set. Click OK. And that's going to be the first embroidery. I'm just going to save that to memory right now because I'll go back and get these. All right, let's go back to my design center, bring up the design that I just brought in. Oh, it's up here. I always forget which end, right? Here we go. There the same design is in the same exact position. And this time, when I take it for embroidery, I'm going to click Next. There's a few ways you could do this, but this is just a fast way. So I can see there's satin stitches on the outside of those lines. Now remember, we're going to stitch those just with a single small stitch, right? Just a single stitch. But now, after we would trim, so I would have the pink popping out, let's do a decorative stitch. Now, the blanket stitch would be very cool. That would work, but I found one in here that I think would be really fun. And unless it would stretch the knit out too much, and I don't know unless I test it. So let's just try this. I'm going to turn this one red just so I can see it. Now it just did that to 1 because I forgot to click link on this one. I did link last time, so I'm going to just click undo, and that was a pretty tight thing. So let's try it one more time. I just want to see what the blanket stitch does look like. Might be safer with the knit. So if you look closely, can you see the blanket stitch inside there? It's going to be like the easiest way to do this. I love that. And I could even make those little blanket stitches wider. You know, there's so many settings that you have here. So I'm just going to bring you this way just a little bit. And I wonder if, oh yeah, the flip. Now, this is really cool. I've been doing this with some other stitches. You click that one button and all of a sudden the blanket stitches are facing out. Well, that really wouldn't do much good for what we're trying to do here, so I'm going to flip it back. Okay. And now you have options to change the stitch width. So this is that blanket stitch. I might want that just a little bit longer. So that way I can trim my gray fabric, but still have enough where you can actually see the stitch. So it's decorative. And I'm also using just a regular universal polyester thread instead of using embroidery thread. All right, so here is where I could change the spacing on there. But if I look closely, I think that spacing is going to be fine, at least for my first test. You can change the thickness of your stitch, which I'm going to leave that for now. And that's it. So click Set. You can save it to memory too, which I might as well just do that. So it's in there, click Set. All right, so that's going to be the second design. So let's go ahead and add the first design. Doesn't mean you have to stitch them in the order that I have them up there. So there's the other one, bring it in. Now, if you look closely, you can see the black line over that. You see that? So there's the black, and then there's the red. Okay, so I'm switching these around. When I click embroider, let's do the single line first. So if you click the plus minus, I can do, there we go, just the single outline. All right, now let's go ahead and put our fabric in there. So this fabric is a little bit heavy. I want to make sure that I get that out and around. 2 layers of knit, that's quite a bit, right? Get it under the needle. That's a lot of fabric in there. Oh my word, did I just put the hoop in the wrong way? I sure did. That's what I get for trying to watch you guys and do this at the same time. Okay, so I was thinking I could have sworn I hooped this in a better manner for this live show. I sure did. So here's the back of the hoop in case you were missing. It goes this way. All right, I'm moving all the knit fabric out the sides, get it away from the machine, make sure everything's nice and flat. I don't even know if I've threaded the needle yet. Have I? Nope. I started to, must have gotten sidetracked. So I have a funny one. Remember last week when I told you that I grabbed a Keurig coffee and put the Keurig in and hit go and started on my phone call and totally forgot to put a coffee cup in there? Well, I got a better one for you today. So I was definitely multitasking, which is not a good thing. And I just finished running the dishwasher. And then I went to make a Keurig. And so after running the dishwasher, I reached into the pods for the dishwasher and I caught myself, of course, because Wynn was just staring at me, wondering how strong I really wanted that coffee. And I was grabbing the dishwasher pods. Now that's really when you need to just say, okay, I think I'm just going to take a break and breathe a little bit. Okay, so that's your laugh for the day. I have another laugh for you later, but there's something that started that whole thing in the first place. But all right, so we're going to do this one, the single line first. Why don't we use, when we click OK, let's use the projector. And then let me just go over here. I'm going to click return and then hit the projector so I want to see exactly where this is going to go on my screen. All right, that's pretty dark. So I'm just going to change the background so you can actually see it. There, now you can see it much better, right? Okay, so that is showing me what is there on the screen. You can see it past my lights up here. I need like a big old thing to cover that up. So there's the red box. Now I want to move the red box down because I know that I'm going to want that part of the flower at the bottom of my top. So I can see it there. So now I'm telling the flower to move. And if you watch this here, I'm just telling it to move. See, the flower's moving because I'm touching these arrows down here. The box right now is only showing the top part. You see that? And now if I move the box around the flower a little bit more, it will tell me that, hey, here's my flower now. Is that where I want it? No, I want to move it just a little bit more. I want it at the bottom. I don't need a big flower right on my hip, if you know what I mean. All right, so that's pretty close to the bottom. And then I have a little seam allowance here, only 1/2 inch, but let me just double check if I move this box over where the side of this flower is. That looks like it's fine, right? So I'm just going to click OK. Make sure that I'm stitching the first stitch. Make sure everything lays okay. Oh gosh, that's so quiet. And I'm using gray, so you can't even see it. Wowzer. All right, so I'll come back over here and say hi for a second. All right. Hey, Amy, by the way, that dyeing fabric that you've been doing this week has been gorgeous. Okay, just making sure I didn't miss any questions. You put coffee in the microwave? Oh, okay, so I'm not the only one. Well, okay, so there was more to that story, by the way. So while we're waiting for that to embroider, let's make sure it's still looking good. All right. There's more to that story. So I woke up and I did not throw my glasses on and I was kind of tired. I stayed up. I worked a little bit too late last night, staring at the computer, makes your eyes look a little crazy. And I could have sworn it said 6:27, which is, my alarm goes off at 6:30. I'm always up before then anyways, but I'm thinking, wow, I really slept in. I got up. I didn't even notice that Win was still asleep, and he always gets up before me, and just started working because I have like a big job that has to be done by tomorrow, and so I'm working. And then all of a sudden, Win's alarm goes off, and I'm thinking, I've been working for a long time. What? Well, he set his alarm kind of late. So he comes out and he's like, wow, how long have you been up? I go, I don't know, a couple of hours. I'm thinking I got up at 6:27, right? Then all of a sudden, something else happened, and I looked down at the computer and it says 6:17. I said, Win, what time is it? He said 6:17. I thought that I seriously had only been up for a short period of time. So, to make a very long story short, if I'm a little bit tired today, that's because I got up. I don't even know what time I got up. It could have probably was like 3:30 and didn't even know it. That's terrible. Oh gosh. All right. So, I didn't forget to thread the machine, Marty. It's in there. It's just gray. You can hardly see it, but you'll see it in a minute. But thanks for thinking of me, by the way. It's still going. I got to go get my really sharp scissors, right? I got those all ready. There's still one more. Oh, Amy, I forgot. Tomorrow's your birthday. I knew it was somewhere around here. And I can feel that gray thread. You cannot see it. And I did this on purpose because I'm actually going to wear this top. Now, you're just going to have to forgive me that you can't see it, but you will once I cut it. I forgot though. Amy's big 5-0. Happy birthday. Who else has a birthday this week? Wynn's birthday is on Sunday. Yeah. Melody. Yes, they are a good decade. Is hoop burn an issue? Susan, not with this frame. It's not. I've already tested on a few other things and it has not been anything at all. All right, you ready? I think it just said we're good. So I'm going to take you back over there and you are so welcome. Oh, Karina, your husband's turning 40 too. Yes, yes. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see. I'll start here. And then you'll just have to kind of bear with me when I cut this because it'll be over on the other table. I just don't want anything to fall out of here. I could probably do it right here in the hoop, but I don't want to do that because you won't be able to see it very well. So I'm going to remove the hoop. It's like, remove the hoop and don't bump anything, right? All right. Well, these magnets have been pretty strong, I have to say. So here it is. I'm going to get all this fabric out of the way very gingerly and take you back over to the other camera. Oh, Darlene, your son turns 42. It's a lot of birthdays this week. Okay, so bring you in just a little bit closer. Don't worry, that was just my foot. Another bruise for the week. Par for the course, right? All right, if I feel closely, I can just feel that top layer. Now, I don't want to cut the pink. So it's almost safer to just pull your pink fabric down, which is what I'm doing. I'm pulling my pink fabric on the back side. Now I want to leave a little bit of the gray, not like there's my stitching. So I don't want it cut exactly on the stitch line. I want to give myself just a wee bit of room. And I just need to turn this in a way that I can cut, that you can see and I can cut. I need to go get my bill scissors. They're around here somewhere, but I don't want the cut to be too close. Sometimes I find it just easier just to eyeball this stuff. All right, these are my serrated scissors, and it just captures that top layer of fabric, and I don't have to worry about this hitting the bottom layer. Just, you know, tools of the trade. Of course, I'm holding them upside down. So I'm going to have to just cut some of these and then turn this around because I can't cut the other direction. Well, at least not with one hand. All right, I think I'm just going to cut holes in all of these mid-flowers while I have my hand pulling the pink fabric away. This is why I didn't want to use stabilizer, because if you had stabilizer in here, that'd be really awkward, right? So this is just, it's a nice stretchy knit. It's almost like a sweatshirt knit. That's how thick it is. So it has more substance than like a rayon knit, or more stability as far as the fabric is concerned. And I found this, actually. I was going to put it in the fabric stash sale this afternoon for the club, but you can see what happened to this fabric. You just have to be very careful that you don't cut the bottom layer. Oh, I like this. So my idea is the blanket stitch will just barely cover this gray, and then the gray will kind of curl once I wash it. So you see kind of where I'm going with this? All right, we need some music or something if I'm going to do all of these. Get my hand out of your way. You see that okay? Now, if I really wanted to be exactly precise, I would measure how wide those stitches are for the blanket stitch, but I don't feel like doing that right now. I'm just winging this one. But if you did want to be, if you really did want to be precise, you could do that. Get my hand out of your way. Oh, it's so funny. Every time I bring my scissors over here, they're like, whoop, sticking right to the magnets. And you know, after I do the blanket stitch, nothing says that I can't go back and trim just a little bit more off. But I really want it to be kind of a rough edge. You can kind of see if I just rub my hands across what happens there. And again, you got to go a little slow. I'm just going to do each of these this angle, and then I can turn this and go a different angle and get my hand out of your way. I'm just keeping my hand under there so I can feel the tip of my scissors. Yeah, this is not something you'd want to do if you're really tired, because you could cut your finger. But these scissors are crazy sharp. And now I'm pulling it back because this is a different angle over here. I'm pulling the gray fabric back. So you might have seen me do something similar to this on It's So Easy a few years back. I think I did it on a skirt. Now that skirt, I had to use stabilizer on it because it was like a linen. And that one frayed pretty bad. I didn't like that. Now a frayed knit would be fine. I know. Go ahead. You can say the frayed knot joke. It's the fishing one. Okay, so let's turn this just a little bit this way. Just got a little bit more to cut. Now I can do these little designs all over my top. This is just the first one. So my whole top is going to be 2 layers of fabric on the front. Probably just 1 layer on the back, unless I decide to get kind of fancy on that too. Oh, I'm liking this. You know, I couldn't decide if I was going to put the gray on the top or the bottom, but because this is just a little bit of a thicker knit, I mean, I could add sleeves to it and wear it as a top for fall. Although I'm kind of into the layering stage, since we are always between running to work out or going for a walk or coming to the office, since life's so different. So I like the layers. So I'm probably going to keep it a tank. Although I think I might have enough gray to make a hoodie or something out of it. All right, how does that look? Pretty good? I don't think I missed anything. So that is the flower. You know, and if you don't have my design center, just find a enclosed flower or add a couple, you know, you could add a couple circles into your embroidery too. Make up your own thing. This is just an easy way to do it when your machine has the tools of the trade, right? Okay, how's that look? All right, now I'm going to go back and we're going to hoop this. Before I hoop it, do you have any questions about that? Oh, I do too. Jane, you could use applique scissors, but I didn't want to get so close to the edge. And you know what? I love these scissors. They're so sharp. I can just slide them. It's just what I like to use. You can use whatever you want to. So there is no right or wrong, by the way. You guys are talking about the frayed knot joke. Phyllis, that's hilarious. They are sharp. They're very sharp. Linda, it hasn't affected my watch yet, and mine's an electronic watch. So I'll keep that. I'll keep you posted on that, though. Okay, I think I got everybody. Yes, you do have to be careful that, Joy, that the embroidery foot does not get caught in the edges. So when I put this back on, watch closely, and I'll show you what happens. Okay? Hey, Ann, I'm not on the brother page, so I can answer that. They're Kai, K-A-I. And Ann, you're in the Fashion Sewing Club, I believe, and there's a discount in there for those scissors, so don't forget about that. Okay, let's go back to this. Oops, let me take that down. I'll take this out just a little bit so you can see. Let's get her to focus. Come on. Cameron's deciding that he doesn't want to focus today. Okay, so now back here, I'm going to slide the machine on, or the hoop on to the machine. And if you watch, what I do is kind of slide in this corner here. So it goes right into this corner and then down. Pull my fabric out of the way. I've got that little plastic thing hanging here. Slide this in place. Nothing, it looks like nothing moved or got jarred or anything else crazy like that. Okay, now I want to go back, and this time I want to pick this design, the red one, which I just have it in red, but I'm going to stitch it in gray. Now I just want to be careful that you can see how I have some of this, because I was playing with this, some of this is sticking up. So I think we better be safe on this. And I'm going to just grab a piece of topper. All right, I know it's right here. Just so it doesn't get captured in those corners. bring this over. I'm just going to use, how much do I need? Just about that much. So this is just water-soluble topper. It's really easy to just protect your designs with that. And then I just need to put a little tape on there. And I had some medical tape just sitting out a little bit ago. And of course I can't find it, so I'm just going to use some of my tape. This won't matter, it's not going to hurt the fabric. But you just want to hold this down. And I'm going to grab one more piece here. Here it is. I knew I had this. Medical tape. This works way better. But I'm just going to use that for just to hold this in place. Now, yes, I could use the basting stitch on this, but I didn't already set up the basting stitch, and I don't want my design to move, if you know what I mean. So let's just, and I'm just going to watch this closely just to get started. Sorry about that. Trying to bring you in closer and hold this down at the same time, though. So you can just see the gray, and it's just covering up the outside edge that I just trimmed off. This is going to be so stinking cute. I'm pretty excited about this. I do have my machine set at a slower speed because I was working on something earlier that I never changed the speed to increase it. But for now, I would probably rather it be a little slow anyways, just to make sure that it doesn't hit on something that I don't want. Once this one goes, I probably don't need to hold it anymore. I'm just being cautious though, because if it flips up one of those little pieces of fabric, then my whole idea is out the door. Now I'm not holding the fabric, I'm just holding this stuff in place, the water-soluble topper. And I have it just a little bit too tight over here. I don't want it to pull up. There we go. Now you do know if I was not live right now, I wouldn't be this cautious. But if anything's going to go wrong, it's always when you're in front of like 3,000 people. Or more. But I think I'm really liking this. This is going to be really cute. All right, it just says 4 more minutes, so don't worry. So just for the record, we have designed this entire thing. It hasn't even been a full, just barely a half an hour so far. So the only thing I did before you came on camera was to trace my top so I knew where my designs were going. Now these flowers that I have here, these in my design center, I could bring the same flower in and adjust the size and do a couple smaller ones so then they would be very cohesive. That would be kind of, I think that would look really good. just make sure that when you chalk in your top that you know where you're putting the designs. A big flower like that could be very interesting, if you know what I mean, if it was in the wrong spot. We've talked about that before. All right, we're getting there. I'm just going to step away for a minute to see if you have any questions while it's embroidering. Yeah, it's quiet too, isn't it? All right, let's see. No worries, guys. Saw it. Gone. Choop. Hey, Nancy. I think the smaller ones would look awesome as well. I really do. Oh, where do these weirdos come from? I swear. Don't worry. Deleted. You're welcome. All right, so, oh yeah, small color in the middle of the pink would be very cool, Kathleen. Can you embroider everything and then cut everything out? Well, you could, but let me go back there. I know, Sandy, I have no idea where they come from. It must be like, they must be getting really bored if they're joining us, right? Well, actually, no, I think the Wolfpack's pretty exciting group, so they just can't stand to stay away. So if you were to embroider all of this and then cut, you could, but ideally I wanted to trim that back so the edge of my gray, I didn't want it to be totally even with that stitching. So some of it would roll back, some of it wouldn't. But you could do either. You could have done the entire thing and then done that, but this was the way I wanted, just to kind of get a handle on it. And if you look closely, once I take this off, I mean, I've got some of the area that has a little bit more gray sticking out from the blanket stitch, and I've got others that are right inside. And I think once I wash that, that's going to look great. Now, does that mean that you could not do that if you did all of this? Well, you could, but then there's some areas here where the blanket stitch just tucks in that knit, which makes it just a little bit different, which is what I was trying to do. So either way, it's really your preference. All right, it's almost getting there. Okay. Oh, thanks, Nancy. Do you stretch knit fabric when hooping? Hey, Judy, if you missed the beginning, go back and check, because this one I did not stretch. But if you were doing one that was a real fitted top, then I would stretch it. So yeah, you could see exactly how I hooped this. And I saw your question earlier, and I can actually show that on Fashion Sewing Club this afternoon too, if you want a better, closer look at that. Deborah, they're like gremlins. I know, they're like mice. They just, where do they come from? They just keep coming. They never go away. Okay. Yeah, you could definitely add more embroidery. In fact, you know what I could do, and I might leave this in, that's a great idea. What if I take this flower, make it smaller, and add just a little gray in here, so then it's not so much pink? Is that what you're thinking? Because I'm thinking that would look really good. But if I do that, then I can't take this out of the hoop. But let me just peel back some of this so you can see what I got. Because if I put gray in there, I'd probably put some more of this in there anyways. So this just tears back, in case you're wondering. Just tears off. And then once I spray it with water, it will disappear. So I'm just going to take part of this off just so you can see it. But you know, I like that idea, Delia. I think I'm going to go in and actually, I'll just take a little bit more of this off, and then I would want to add more of this anyways. So I don't want to make too much of a mess out of this. And I don't want to stretch the fabric out. But what a great idea. So I still have the little topper in here. So let me just pull off these. And I'll just show you how I would do this. Oh, that's gonna look great. I love that look. So if you wanted to add just a little more gray, let's go back and I'll just take you right here. Try to get rid of my ceiling. There we go. So you have a few options. First of all, I'm going to save this because I might want to use that later. Save it to the machine. Now let's go back into, let's see. I'm wondering, don't think this would work, but let's just try it. So there's the whole design. I don't think that if I shrunk the whole thing that it would fit proportionately, but let's try it. Yeah, I don't think it will, because I can see my old line. Reset it. See what's happening? It doesn't do it proportionally, but I could have a whole extra set just inside of that. So instead, let's go back and I'll just try this briefly. And if it works, I'll let you guys know. So I'm going to click on home. This is why I always save everything on every single step. I go into memory and pull this little guy up. So that was the original, right? So then we would want to see if we could, oops, I'm sorry. I don't think there were any designs in here that were similar to that. Let me just double check. I don't think so. If I change this in size, it's going to do the exact same thing. Although I can get a lot smaller. Probably the best idea would be to go back and scan in that fabric and just add a couple of little, just draw them in so they're very similar to this. So that's going to be for another day. But that's what I have so far. I think it turned out pretty cute. And I'll keep you posted what I end up doing with it. How's that? Yeah, because we're almost out of time. And I know that doing that, if I screw it up, I'll be like, oh man, it was looking so good. And yes, you could regroup those. So that's what I think I'm going to work on. Jacinth, that's so funny. I agree. Yeah, you know what, Sandy, that's a good idea. Well, I was also thinking maybe just like a mini flower in there, or just a mini kind of an oval in there would be kind of cool. And then I'd put gray inside, have the blanket stitching going outside, which would be a reverse, and then it would just be kind of nubby that way. Yeah, I know. So many creative minds here. I'm going to go back and watch all of you and read all of your comments. Bye, Darlene. Have a wonderful day. All right, so that was it for the day. Oh, thanks, Vicki. I'm wearing, let's see. What am I wearing? Oh, I made this forever ago. It's a pattern hack from the Evelyn, but my embroidered sleeves. Yes. Yeah, Susan, that you could also just embroider in there. But if I add just embroidery to the knit, then I have to use a stabilizer. And I was trying to come up with a way that I could make this kind of cool like that with no stabilizer. So that was kind of my idea there, or my goal, I should say. A flower button, or those beautiful buttons. I think I just put them on my desk with the bow. Those porcelain ones, those would be very pretty. But then I'd have to be very careful when I wash the knit top, which could, you never know. Oh, thanks, Lucille. So how about stitching it as a redwood and gray? Oh, that one. All these ideas. No. You know what I need to do? Oh, yes, Janice, that's a good idea. Just free motion in the petals. Yeah, since I brought that foot out last week anyways. But I do have a little bit of extra fabric. So once I cut out one of the, like just a little corner, I might just do this again on a smaller scale and test each little flower petal with something different and see what it looks like. Don't you think? I'll bring it in next week and show you. All right, so before we go, a couple things. For those of you that were looking for, that are interested in designing your own clothes, there is a fashion design contest on patternade.com. So I have a link in my Angela Wolf Patterns group, so don't miss that. For tomorrow at noon, we have on the Brother Sewing page, I will be hosting with a lot of the brand ambassadors and a lot of the educators. So we got the video from B2B, which is what the dealers see for all the new product, and we were able to capture that. And they're all coming on for about an hour and a half for Q&A, and you'll get to watch the videos. I think it'll be great. That's tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. And then next week, let's see, I have the calendar all up, 3 p.m. on the 15th. We're going to talk about embroidering jeans. At the same time, we are going to kick off the beginning of the Linda Tunic sew along. So the kickoff means I'm going to put it on the blog, so I'll give you ideas of what fabric to purchase. So that'll give you a few weeks to get all of your supplies in. A lot of you already have the Linda Tunic pattern. I'll make sure there's a discount for you. And I'm going to sew the top out of a knit, and I'm going to embroider the sleeves. Very similar to how I did it with a rayon, and then I used silk chiffon for the sleeves. So either one will be great that you can use, and I'm gonna just watch for that whole list. It will be listed on the 15th. Let's see, what else? Oh, Sharon, I can hardly wait to see you. Our pants class is almost here, 1 week and a half away. I cannot believe it. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. And don't worry, we'll do a live here so you can see everybody. The Wolf Pack will get to meet part of the Wolf Pack. And then there's more coming on next week on the 17th. Cindy's coming on with her 10 needle, and we've got a lot of other things going on. Let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything I forgot. The couture jacket class is launching again, and I believe the date is October 15th is the date. So you can watch, that will be launching, so you can sign up in advance. And I believe that's the date I had on there, unless my glasses are foggy and it's October 1st. I don't know. It might be the 1st, but I'm pretty sure it's the 15th, and the class will not cover fitting. So there will be some links to other classes that you can take for fitting. So, all right, everyone, have a wonderful day. If I'm missing anything, let me know. The lace contest is still open. It will be open until my new collection comes out. So you can use any of my patterns. I had a few people say, but I want to use your Chloe Trench. Okay, you can use any of my patterns. You just have to add lace in there somewhere. Post a photo and tag me. So I'm pretty sure that that contest will last at least until October 1st, right? Okay, I think that's it. It's great to see you all. Have a wonderful day. Here is, in case you are looking for the blog, that's where all of those things go. And this is where you can find me on the website and on Instagram. And Fashion Sewing Club, I will see you in a couple of hours. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great day. And if you try this technique, you have to share a photo and tag it. I'm dying to see your creativity. And I love the gray and pink, but I could think of so many other good color combinations. Think of the holidays. Yeah, there's going to be a ton. A lot of good ones. All right. See you all.